Currently, as of 2023, the top 10 most populous nations in the world are India, China, the United States, Indonesia, Pakistan, Nigeria, Brazil, Bangladesh, Russia, and Mexico. But has this always been like this? For regions that we generally just know of a lot of people always so populated, in this video we're going to go back in time to the year 1500 to see what the top 10 most populous countries were 500 years ago. Now, just note that all of these numbers are estimates, but precise enough that we can safely say that the following nations were the most populous. Back in 1500, Spain had a population of around 8.9 million. In comparison, Spain currently has a population of 48.3 million as of 2023. However, we must remember that Spain's borders in 1500 were not the same as today. The Spanish Empire is one of the largest empires in history, behind only the Qing dynasty, the Russians, the Mongols, and the British. In 1500, Spain's empire was just beginning to be established, as this was only 8 years after Christopher Columbus's first voyage to the New World. In Europe, Spain held most of its modern-day territory, excluding Navarre, along with the islands of Sardinia and Sicily, as well as some other minor possessions. Overseas, Spain had recently taken the Canary Islands, and, in the New World, had established a colony on the island of Hispaniola known as Santo Domingo. While not nearly as powerful as it would eventually become, Spain was still a very influential nation at the time and would have an immense impact on both European and American history for the next few centuries. If you're not familiar, the Ashikaga Shogunate was the government of Japan from 1336 to 1573. In 1500, it had a population of around 9.8 million. In comparison, Japan currently has a population of 124.5 million as of 2023. The Ashikaga Shogunate controlled most of modern-day Japan, except for the independent Ryukyu Kingdom, the Ainu lands in northeastern Hokkaido, and some minor overseas islands. The 16th century is a chaotic and fragmented era for Japan, known as the Sengoku period. The shogun's power was limited to just Kyoto and its vicinity, while the rest of the country was divided among numerous feudal lords who fought for supremacy. Japan's population growth was largely driven by the expansion of agriculture, but also by other factors such as improved irrigation, land reclamation, new crops, trade, urbanization, and social stability. The Bengal Sultanate was a medieval Indian state centered mostly in modern-day Bangladesh and eastern India, but with territories of vassals stretching across other regions of the Indian subcontinent. In 1500, the Bengal Sultanate had a population of 10.53 million. In comparison, Bangladesh, which is the closest modern territorial resemblant, currently has a population of 169.83 million. The Bengal Sultanate was a prosperous and powerful state in Asia, with extensive trade and cultural connections with other regions. It was also a diverse and tolerant society where people of different religions lived together peacefully, although there were occasional conflicts and discriminations. The region of Bengal had fertile land and favorable climate for agriculture, which supported a large and varied population. However, the political system of the Bengal Sultanate was not always stable or righteous, as there were many internal and external challenges that threatened its peace and security. Nonetheless, it was a very influential power at the time and was a key player in regional politics. The Inca Empire was the largest pre-Columbian empire in the Americas, with territory in modern-day Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina. In 1500, the Inca Empire had a population of 12 million. In comparison, the aforementioned 5 countries that the Inca Empire stretched to currently have a collective population of 130.39 million. I know this is not a fair comparison, but it gives you a general idea of how much populations across the world have grown over the years. The Inca Empire excelled in agriculture, engineering, religion, architecture, politics, and administration. The empire reached its zenith in the mid-15th century and continued to prosper in the following decades, but also faced challenges such as internal conflicts, diseases, and foreign invaders. The Inca Empire was very populous due to its diverse geography, which allowed for the cultivation of various crops, its social cohesion, which fostered a sense of unity and loyalty among its people, and its efficient administration, which was based on a centralized bureaucracy and a network of roads and storehouses. The Ottoman Empire was a powerful state, with territory stretching from Anatolia to the Balkans and north to Crimea. In 1500, the Ottoman Empire had a population of 12.64 million. In comparison, Turkey, Greece, Bulgaria, North Macedonia, Serbia, Kosovo, Albania, Montenegro, and Bosnia and Herzegovina all collectively have a population of 119.12 million. At the beginning of the 16th century, the Ottoman Empire, while not nearly as large or powerful as it would eventually become, was still a very influential state, renowned for its achievement in the arts, science, cultural diversity, and for being a major trade hub. The empire had a large and diverse population, which was supported by its fertile geography, stable political system, high birth rate, low mortality rate, tolerant attitude, and resettlement policy. In 1500, France had a population of 16.25 million. In comparison, France currently has a population of 68.15 million. France was a major power and cultural leader in Europe in the 16th century, but it also faced many challenges and changes. It competed with other powerful states such as the Holy Roman Empire, Spain, the Ottoman Empire, and eventually England for the control of Italy and other regions in the Italian Wars. It developed its own distinctive culture, influenced by the Italian Renaissance, but also by its own writers, artists, architects, musicians, and scientists. It had a large population compared to other European countries, but it also suffered from periodic crises and diversity. France of the 16th century is a complex and dynamic country that no doubt shaped European history. The Delhi Sultanate was another medieval Indian state that ruled over a lot of the northern part of the subcontinent. In 1500, the Sultanate had a population of around 20 million. The Delhi Sultanate was a medieval Muslim state that ruled over large parts of the Indian subcontinent for 320 years. It was established by Turkish and Afghan Muslim dynasties who conquered northern India, including present-day Pakistan and Bangladesh. The Delhi Sultanate witnessed significant developments in arts, culture, and education, along with the creation of many architectural projects. However, by the start of the 16th century, the Delhi Sultanate faced various challenges. The nobles, generals, and governors of the Sultanate threatened its stability with the rise of rebellions, factionalism, and corruption. Furthermore, the government itself had difficulties accommodating the needs of the nation's diverse population. There were also other growing powers in India that would challenge the integrity of the already declining empire through invasion. However, the Delhi Sultanate should not be underestimated. It was still a very influential entity in the subcontinent whose political, legal, military, and administrative practices would have a great impact on the structure of future states in the region. Moreover, in the early 14th century, it did control most of India. Delhi Sultanate was so populous back then for similar reasons as France. It had vast fertile lands, a strong government, a rich culture, and a powerful diplomatic presence in its region. In 1500, the Holy Roman Empire had a population of around 23 million. In comparison, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Austria, and Czechia currently have a collective population of 141.52 million. The Holy Roman Empire was a complex polity in Central and Western Europe, composed of various states of different sizes and degrees of autonomy. The Holy Roman Empire therefore had limited power over the individual territories of the empire, which often acted independently or formed alliances with other states. The HRE, like many European states at the time, experienced great cultural advancement during the Renaissance, as the 15th and 16th century saw the development of art, literature, architecture, music, and science in the empire. The HRE had a major impact on European history and influenced both political, technological, and administrative trends in the region. The empire's population increased due to its vast territory in the heart of Europe, as well as its economic and social diversity. The Vijayanagara Empire was a South Indian empire renowned for its strong government, diverse and rich culture, and general prosperity. In 1500, the empire had a population of around 25 million. The Vijayanagara Empire had a centralized government that also delegated some authority to its provinces. It also maintained a large and well-trained army and navy, which enabled it to defend and expand its territory, resulting in a high population. Another advantage was its diverse culture, influenced by Hinduism, Islam, and even some European practices. This attracted various writers, artists, and scholars to the empire, enhancing its literature, science, art, philosophy, and technology. The empire also possessed fertile land and rich resources such as water, minerals, and spices. These boosted not only the population but also the economy. However, the empire also faced internal divisions among classes and external conflicts with rival powers. Despite these challenges, the Vijayanagara Empire is one of the most populous and prosperous empires in the world in 1500. This wasn't even close. In 1500, Ming China had a population of 103 million, more than 4 times the population of the second-place Vijayanagara Empire. In comparison, China currently has a population of 1.43 billion. 1500 oversaw the trends of reduced taxes, increased agriculture, and boosted education. The Ming Dynasty was a powerful and influential empire that had strong relations with various regions across Asia. It was also known for its achievements in literature, architecture, technology, science, and art, with examples being the construction of the Forbidden City and the porcelain industry. These factors all contributed to the population growth of China. However, the Ming Dynasty also faced challenges from natural disasters, border conflicts, and rebellions. The rise of the Ottoman and Safavid empires in Western Asia and Portugal's maritime expansion created competition and tension with China. Despite these difficulties, the Ming Dynasty was one of the most significant eras in Chinese history and shaped China's identity for centuries to come. Furthermore, the Ming Dynasty had a large impact on the history of the world in general due to its influence on exploration, cultures, diplomacy, trade, and other major civilizations. All these factors, combined with the sheer size of the Ming Dynasty, explain why it was the most populous nation in the world 500 years ago. So, what can we learn from this? Well, number 1, China and India are heavily populated. Okay, that's obvious. Let's compare the top 10 most populous nations in 1500 with the top 10 in 2023. There are similarities and differences. In 1500, 5 of the nations were centered in Asia, 4 were centered in Europe, and 1 was centered in South America. In 2023, 5 of the nations are still centered in Asia, but only 1 is centered in Europe, 1 is still centered in South America, just on the complete other side of the continent, 2 are now centered in North America, and 1 is now centered in Africa. So what changed? The reason why North America has been able to rise originates in the beginning of European colonization, which had only just begun in 1500. Despite many native populations immensely decreasing because of this, colonization brought not only new technology that increased quality of life and food supply, but also the transatlantic slave trade which transported millions of Africans to the continent. Later in the 19th and 20th centuries, North America witnessed various waves of immigration from Eurasia, while birth rates rose and mortality rates decreased. In the end, that, along with political centralization, are why we see North American states represented in the 2023 list. Unlike what colonization did to North America, Africa's population stagnated as a result. It wasn't until the mid-20th century when many African nations gained independence until the continent's population rose to the extent it's at today. Declining mortality rates, increasing fertility rates, urbanization, rising healthcare, education, and development all led to many nations seeing a dramatic increase in people over the coming decades. Additionally, as I briefly mentioned when talking about North America, African societies are centralized into fewer, larger states now. Europe's population rate was steady throughout the centuries following 1500. However, the two world wars in the 20th century led to large casualties and destruction, in turn stunting the continent's population growth rate too. Despite that though, Europe is able to recover, but has once again begun to decline due to falling fertility rates and higher mortality rates due to the aging of the continent's people. Therefore, Europe's population is expected to decline in the coming decades, and, along with the aforementioned rising trends in other regions, explain why there are fewer European nations in the 2023 list than in 1500. To conclude, all of these factors together are what turned this list into this list over the last 500 years. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.